Elon says we are starting to get to the point where once known bugs are fixed, it will take over a year of driving to get even one intervention. This is massive news. And FSD v12.4 is not coming out because the first version that we are going to get is probably 12.4.1, which releases today to Tesla employees. If that goes well, then it will be released to a limited number of external customers this weekend. There are a massive number of changes to this build. It should arguably be called V13, but we're sticking to V12. Two other versions are in earlier stages of testing, 12.5 and 12.6, which could be called V14 and V15. So one intervention per year, that means if you assume 12,000 miles per year, this will get Tesla very close to Waymo as far as interventions per mile go, but Tesla will be able to operate anywhere without LiDAR and HD maps with cheap camera sensors. Omar drops a big bomb. According to his sources at Nvidia, Tesla has ordered over 100,000 H200s from Nvidia that they will be taking delivery of over the next 12 months. And the deliveries have already started? Omar posted some screenshots of the messages. And if you stopped and read the post, this post, by the way, is public. I wouldn't share anything that's private. And because it's H200s, not H100s, these are actually better. Elon responded to this, yeah, it's insane. Being at XAI, this guy works for XAI, has really highlighted for me how often news is weaponized to seemingly intentionally spread misinformation. I mean, even Fred pushed against the story.
CNBC publishing a scoop that Elon Musk had directed Nvidia to ship thousands of semiconductors that were meant for Tesla to instead be sent to X and XAI.
I'm an investor in Tesla, so it doesn't feel good because I've walked Gigafactory Austin and it's like 17 miles long or something.
Yeah.
To say that you don't have room for something is a weird excuse for the biggest factory I've ever seen ever. So yeah, Tesla's kind of the bottom of the pecking hole of Elon's companies.
So Elon responds to Ross Gerber, the existing factory space was already allocated to vehicle battery and cell production. And this is not a matter of tucking a few computers into a corner. You need a kilowatt of power and cooling for each GPU, which would mean 12 megawatts of power and 12 megawatts of cooling. The south extension is custom built for heavy power compute and cooling. The cooling towers are huge. Initial system is 50,000 H100s plus 20,000 Tesla hardware for AI computers and massive video storage. Important to know that FSD training requires massive liquid-cooled Tesla AI compute and video storage, not just Nvidia. How many of these words do you think Ross Gerber understood? And Elon responded to this post, I think 85,000 is the right number talking about chips. The new data center will house 50,000, the one in Texas. They have an existing data centers, 35,000 H100s, and this should be all in addition to the Dojo systems. Elon replies, correct. Also, I can't overstate the difficulty of making 50,000 H100s train as a coherent system. No company on earth has been able to achieve this yet. Once we have that system working, we will order more hardware. Also, the $10 billion number includes multiple things. Now, for example, specifically about building superclusters, Nvidia hardware is about 2/3 of the cost. Elon's best guess for Nvidia purchases by Tesla are $3 to $4 billion this year. Then Elon responded to, how do you see Dojo comparing to the Nvidia cluster? Is there a realistic pathway to one day producing training compute internally rather than buying from Nvidia? Pay attention here, training compute for Tesla is relatively small compared to inference compute, as the latter scales linearly with size of fleet. Perhaps the best way to think about it is in terms of power consumption. When Tesla fleet reaches 100 million vehicles, peak power consumption of AI hardware in cars will be 100 gigawatts. Training power consumption is probably less than 5 gigawatts. These are very rough guesses. Obviously, 5 gigawatts of AI training compute is enormous by current standards, but is only about 5% of total Tesla AI compute. There's a path for Dojo to exceed Nvidia. It is a long shot, as I've said before, but success is one of the possible outcomes. And Danais commented on this. He strongly disagrees with Ross Gerber on this Tesla take. By the way, Elon responded to CNBC. He called Laura liar Kolodny. CNBC included Elon's explanation about the story, but at the end of the article. Now, of course, what Elon did, taking away these chips supposedly from Tesla and diverting them to XAI, is horrible. We need an honest CEO like Mary Barra, who didn't order any GPUs at all. I mean, she has no idea what to do with those GPUs, so there's no way she will start another company. That's the kind of CEO that Omar wants. Morgan Stanley has a new note about Tesla. Without Elon Musk achieving 25% voting stake in the company, we believe Tesla shareholders should be prepared for Tesla to significantly slow down or curtail its direct investment in sensitive advanced AI efforts. When asked why he's uncomfortable expanding AI and robotics at Tesla without 25% of voting share on Q4 earnings call, Elon said, "I see a path to creating an artificial intelligence and robotics juggernaut of truly immense capability and power. I'm not looking for additional economics. I just want to be an effective steward of very powerful technology." While Tesla may still be in position to benefit indirectly from AI advancements, we believe that most of the adjacent AI efforts could be concentrated within non-Tesla entities where Elon Musk has control, in the event Musk does not reach a 25% voting share of Tesla. While investor opinions around the June 13th shareholder vote are in flux, we believe there may be any number of potential paths for Elon Musk to achieve 25% voting stake in Tesla over time, even without the inclusion of the 2018 compensation package, which definitely lower the chances of Elon Musk leaving Tesla, and that should get Elon focusing on Tesla. But Elon said even without him, Tesla will solve FSD, even if he just disappears from this planet. Roy shared a new chart about the Cybertruck. He has new DMV VIN data up to June 3rd. I used this data to calculate Tesla's production. The accuracy of this method is almost 99%. The data includes all Tesla models produced in the US. For example, this chart shows Cybertruck production. The production rate has been the same since late March. That's why the blue line is straight instead of curved. It means production is now ramping up. Also, do remember that there was a recall for the accelerator pedal. There's definitely lots of demand for the Cybertruck. So if production is not ramping quickly, it's because there's some sort of production issue, which I'm sure Tesla will solve. Troy agrees demand is high. He doesn't know for sure what the limitation for production is, but maybe it's 4680 cells, he guesses. He also thinks it could be high cost of goods sold. If COGS is high and is going to take a while to reduce it, it would make sense to keep production low so they can keep delivering the Foundation series for longer. There's a report about battery production from LG. It's expected that some 4680 batteries will be delivered to Tesla starting in August. So I think James is likely to be right here. Tesla should also start receiving 4680 cells from Panasonic in August. We can speculate that Cybertruck production will turn up a few notches to make use of these cells, especially assuming continued progress with Austin's ramp. This is, of course, assuming that the batteries are the problem right now. In the meantime, though, a big new batch of Cybertruck Foundation series invites just went out. We're getting numbers from Europe. We're still missing Germany and the UK, but unless we have a very good positive surprise from these two countries, we will have lower deliveries in Europe. However, China and the US are looking better. James thinks it's looking much better for these two. This is good news for Tesla's FSD in China. All new cars at the Vehicle Pickup Center from now on have the newest Baidu maps, which will be important for FSD in China. Omar just had a no interventions drive of 33 minutes in LA. He takes another shot at the CNBC reporter. It's amazing that they were able to make my car drive for this long without any interventions in LA, when they didn't even have any training compute, according to the reporter. Tesla just posted that they achieved a new milestone in the Giga Nevada factory. They just produced their 5 millionth drive unit.
I'm going to go back to Tesla here. Maybe get your thoughts on the stock. So we do have this report of Elon potentially
I'm not a seller of
shipments
Tesla. I think that he wins the vote and stuck as her.
Elon actually replied to this with, there's a very good chance that this conversation took place. Martin, who manages Tesla's investment relations. Do we really have to file this with the SEC? just to be safe, likely said lawyers. The recent SEC filings basically include any tweet or any post that Elon makes, even remotely related to Tesla, that could potentially affect us Tesla shareholders. Gary Black is positive here. Very low odds of Tesla shareholders voting no to approve Elon's 2018 compensation plan. Why would a long investor want to hurt Tesla's stock price? We should probably ask the billionaire Tesla stock investor Leo Cogman, why is he voting no? Electric has a long piece about Elon's compensation package. The headline reads, "It will haunt Tesla for years." I like to read all sides of the story, positive opinions, negative opinions, because that allows me to eventually make much better decisions. I don't care how I feel about any particular situation. What I care about is what's the truth, what are the facts, and what do we do about it. I think there is a point to be made about this. Proper governance at Tesla or Elon. You can't have both. Now, I would rather not have Mary Barra. And it's important to note that this corporate governance that we have currently has allowed Tesla and Elon Musk to achieve some of the biggest achievements in the public market. Since Tesla's IPO, Tesla's stock has gone up 13,500%. I became a Tesla stock investor in early 2019. I invested at just under $20 per share, and the stock since then is up 787%. So I am very comfortable with the governance as we have it right now. We are fortunate to have a CEO at Tesla who is arguably the best strategic leader in the world. That doesn't mean he's perfect, but who is? Tesla shareholders are split into two camps: those who want to retain Elon and those who are fighting hard to push him out of the company. In my humble opinion, and I agree, the latter group has let emotion cloud their judgment. And James agrees with Omar that Elon's ownership of other entities has helped Tesla, at least historically. The castings used in Model Y, for example, use a special alloy that a team led by Tesla's material science exec leads, who also happens to lead the same department at SpaceX. There's also cross-promotion. For example, Tesla's used in Vegas tunnels. Model X brings astronauts to the rockets, etc. That adds a lot of brand appeal. Twitter is the only one that doesn't really mix well. Elon's use of Twitter prior to his ownership was enough. However, this is important to keep in mind. Twitter has turned out to be crucial for solving full self-driving, as I believe language models are a key part of the solution. Elon really hasn't talked anything about Twitter being useful for Tesla's full self-driving. Tesla, though, before has talked about using technology like a large language model, which helps Tesla improve FSD's decision making. Alexandra has some strong words to all those who thought that our letters to the Chancery Court in Delaware would be useless. Go get lost, she says. Our letters to the judge just became part of the public record in the court proceedings. A big shout out goes to Alexandra for doing all of this work. If you want to consult the 1,400 almost letters and 190 almost emails that became public record in the Delaware case, go to X and you'll see it at the top of my Twitter timeline, X timeline. I like this letter. Dear Honorable Chancellor McCormick, as I'm sure you are fairly and honorably considering the above referenced matter, just wanted to humbly convey my desired outcome as a long-time Tesla shareholder and member of the Tesla Wordle community. Quas legal firms Tesla share high. Thought that was today's puzzle, but I think it's a sign. Please consider the harm to me and the other Tesla shareholders in awarding $6 billion in Tesla shares to the attorneys who brought a class action suit we didn't authorize that ironically rescinded the CEO compensation package that we did authorize. If you are from the UK and you have shares with this institution, you can now vote. Pause and read for instructions. The template applies to any UK broker, by the way. I expect more institutions in Europe to allow voting in the next coming days. This could explain a few things. This is about Tesla's insurance. Supposedly there's this interview with a former executive at Tesla Insurance. I take this as a rumor at this moment, but Tesla Insurance is supposedly running at 150% loss ratio with 40% total loss frequency. I don't really know the credibility of this account, and I don't know from when this is exactly, and when that person that supposedly worked at Tesla no longer worked at Tesla, but Tesla CFO Zach was still Tesla CFO, and 40% loss frequency means 40% of the time time when a Tesla is crashed, it is totaled. But it's important to understand the whole context because the labor rates in the shops and elsewhere are so high. We were totaling our cars at a higher rate, around 40% of the time. That's why I'm paying through the nose and my loss ratio is poor. But I was making money through salvage because I was getting such high returns. However, here's the problem. I had issues with companies which I refer to as the twins. They were mishandling my batteries, not taking pictures, not charging the car. So I couldn't assure a buyer that the battery was in good condition because one of these companies wouldn't charge them, or they would take pictures of the batteries with forklifts that scratched the casings. Sounds like solvable problems to me though. And just because a vehicle would be a total loss, it doesn't mean that Tesla would actually be losing a lot of money because Tesla can just sell the batteries or parts of the car. Wow, what about the loss frequency in terms of the total rate? And this is that employee's response who's no longer with Tesla. We really didn't focus on that. We weren't looking at our loss ratios or anything similar at the time. We were strictly focused on the processing of claims. Again, when I was there, the major initiative was to bring all the claims operations in-house. We weren't focused on the typical claims numbers. I tried to introduce those and Zach, the CFO, shot me down. He said, we don't need to know any of this. Here's what I want to know. It was more about customer service than traditional claims information. Sounds to me like this is from quite a while ago and that Tesla was just trying to get the business up and running in the first place. And then once it's up and running, then we can worry about all of these other things. In the meantime, Toyota recalls more than 110,000 vehicles over possible debris in engines. Possible machine debris in 2022 and 23 Toyota Tundra and Lexus LX600 engines could cause stalling, leading to crashes at high speeds. By the way, just in case this wasn't obvious, this cannot be fixed over the air with a software update.
I think in the next 10 years, we're probably going to make 4 or 5 times our money again in Tesla.
Billionaire Ron Barron was just on TV and he had a few things to say about Elon Musk, Tesla, and the shareholder vote.
I've known you've been a very long time holder. Some of your funds own 2.7%, 3%, 2.8%. The Barron Partners Fund is almost 30% long position in Tesla. So you are a massive shareholder. This is a pay package that shareholders approved once. This Delaware judge has overturned it, and now it's going back to the shareholders again. How will you vote your shares?
We're voting for the package. I think in the next 10 years, we're probably going to make 4 or 5 times our money again in Tesla. So he's created tremendous wealth for people, and he was paid, if this contract is enforced, which I think it should be, he's paid $56 billion. So it's like winning the lottery, you know, and Joe was talking about it before, you win the lottery, you don't tell someone, oh, sorry, you won so much money, you have to give it back.
I remember thinking at the time that the compensation deal was a crazy setup, but I also remember thinking at the time that I never thought he'd hit any of the metrics.
No one
He
did.
hit every one of the metrics. So it's hard to imagine taking that back and clawing it back.
Exactly. And so that's exactly how we viewed it. I said, man, if he hits this is fantastic. We're going to do so well. And again, I mean, he should have another contract going from this point going forward, where it's incented the same way, I'm hoping.
If Elon does get the 2018 CEO Performance Award, then I expect the new compensation package just to be about increasing his voting control. But if he doesn't, then the next compensation package, I expect to have some financial incentives for Elon so that he gets paid what he actually earned before, so he's not just left there hanging.
You've said for a long time, when we've asked you what your biggest concern about Tesla would be, is the key man theory, that so much is riding on Elon Musk being there. If he's not there, you don't think the company is worth the same. So what do you think happens if this package is not approved? What will Elon do?
I can't see inside of his mind, but I know that he has created tremendous value for everyone. I know he has a big stake in Tesla. But you know, when I started in business in 1970, one of the people who really helped me at the very beginning of my career was Jay Pritzker. He's Tom Pritzker's dad, and he's the founder of Hyatt. And we were talking about arrangements, and he said, Ron, if you need to have a contract, then you're doing business you're doing business with the wrong person. You can't rely on a contract to do business, and you have to. He's a handshake guy. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do something. We said, as Tesla as a company, Elon, if you perform, this is what you're going to get. How are you going to go back and renege on that, especially when all the directors and all the shareholders approved it? It's crazy.
It's crazy because I believe there's a pinch of politics added to this whole situation. So about Nvidia chips being turned away from Tesla to X, you need to know a few things about the reporter that wrote the story on CNBC. Omar says that Laura has been working closely with Tesla short sellers like Aaron Greenspan for years, and she even helped spread accusations that Omar had child pornography when Tesla short sellers were going after Omar. And of course, she has often been wrong in the past about Tesla. So the next time you see this reporter writing another story about Tesla, just keep in mind that she has a negative bias against Tesla. I just created this new channel. I will post a few extra clips, exclusive clips on there. I am testing a few theories I have about the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. Make sure to subscribe to this new channel if you don't want to miss these videos, because if you are not subscribed, there's a very low chance that YouTube is going to show it to you because it's a completely new channel. I'm going to put a link down below in the description. This is it for today's video. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And in the meantime, I just posted another exclusive video on Patreon. I covered a semi-private post in this video. It's about Tesla's progress in AI. It's a bit insane, so I'll see you over there. By joining Patreon, you will have access to all of my exclusive videos on Patreon, as well as how much I am willing to pay for each Tesla share between 2024 and 2033. If you join the investor tier, you will also have access to my valuation model, where you will see all of my assumptions, including deliveries, the energy business, Tesla's future businesses like FSD, and of course much more. And then if you want to easily download that and put in your own numbers, then this third tier is for you. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet as well. It's really important to like the videos because that makes it less likely that the channel will be shadow banned later, like my other big channel got shadow banned before from about 50% of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.